So today we will be learning about pandas. Okay, we had yes, just one minute. So first, what is pandas? Let's I'm just starting from the beginning itself. Okay, so pandas is the basic thing that we are going to use for importing the data set, for pre-processing the data. Not pre-processing. Pre-processing is done using NumPy and various other libraries, but importing the data set and many other insights related to the data set are being generated here, like some pre-processing are also being done, like handling the missing values, handling null values. Okay, so let's see all of these. Okay, so before that, first let's know how to install the pandas in your system. So last day class I had told everyone to do install numpy and pandas both. Okay, have you guys installed them, or should I repeat the instruction to install the pandas again? Please respond. Hello, please respond if you have not installed pandas so that I can repeat the instruction. Okay, installed. Okay, cool, no problem. Okay, so there's a question, when should you start pandas and why? Like some people ask me, like, why did you start numpy first? Why should learn numpy first? Because numpy is essential, because whatever kind of pre mathematical processing that you have to do on the data, because numpy pandas consists of two types of data, only series and data frames. Okay, so essentially what is series that I had told? It's a one dimensional column. Single column of data is called series. Okay, so you can literally handle that, call that single column of data as an array as well, because that single column will contain only one single type of data. Okay, so you can, in other words, you can call it an array as well, because what does array says? It can store or it can store data as big as possible, but it should be all the data that it can store should be of a same type. Okay, and what is data frame? Different series combined together is known as data frame to form multi-dimensional table. Okay, so why you should learn NumPy? Because to handle these datas. Okay, series, so you got understood that it's a single one-dimensional array. It can be named as a one-dimensional array, so it can be handled using NumPy. But the question remains as why data frame? What about data frame? How to handle that? Then then my answer would be data frame can be broken down into one single series and then can be handled independently. Okay, how to break them? Using their column names or index names. Okay, it can be broken down and then can be handled separately via NumPy. Okay, so series and data frames. Okay, so let's create some data frames from scratch. This is a dictionary here. Remember, I had told regarding dictionary, a list can never be the key of a dictionary, but a dictionary can have a list as value. So these are lists that has been put as value under key apples and oranges. Okay, so if we pass this dictionary to the data frame function of pandas, what we will get? It will append these two dictionaries in the form of a multi-dimensional table. Okay, it's like here. But here, what is our index? 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's have some customer names as the index, and we specify using that index attribute. Now our index became, instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 0, 1, 2, 3, we have June, Robert, Lily and David. Now LOC parameter, LOC function. What is LOC? It stands for locate. Okay, So to locate any data, okay, by row, okay, remember LOC parameter is used to locate the data by their row wise, okay. So to locate the data by their row, LOC lock
हेलो
and yeah,
हेलो
hello.
सर, कह रहे थे इसमें जो 3201 ये सब क्या है, जो डेटा इसके अंदर है वो कैसे आया?
एक बार फिर से क्वेश्चन प्लीज.
सर जो टेबल है उसमें सर डेटा 3201 करके फील्ड है पूरा।
मेरे को क्वेश्चन ही समझ में नहीं आया आप क्या पूछना चाह रहे हैं. आवाज क्लियर
सर
नहीं आ रहा है, काफी
कह
इको
रहे
हो
सर
रहा है.
जो टेबल है,
हाँ,
टेबल में सर डेटा फील्ड है।
डेटा फील्ड वो नहीं है यहाँ जो. अच्छा, आप इसके हम बोल रहे हैं क्या? यहाँ जो टेबल में डेटा लिखा हुआ है यहाँ पे पैंडा ऐसा,
हाँ सर,
ठीक
वो
है.
कैसे आ गया?
ये डेटा हमारा वही डिक्शनरी है जो डिक्शनरी हमने बनाया था ऊपर, याद रखिए. ये देखिए यहाँ डिक्शनरी बनाया था डेटा, ये डिक्शनरी है.
हाँ सर समझ गए।
हाँ, तो यहाँ पे हम यहाँ पे कोड थोड़ा कट गया, तो अगर आप उस कोड को देखना तो यहाँ पे देख लीजिए उसी कोड को क्या कर रहा है वो. ठीक है, इसलिए मैंने दोनों खोल के रखा है कि आपको कोई दिक्कत ना हो समझने में कोड क्या हो रहा है. ठीक है, तो देखिए यहाँ पे डिक्शनरी था. ठीक है, डेटा फ्रेम कंस्ट्रक्टर में क्या है, हमने डिक्शनरी को पास कर दिया मैंने फंक्शन को. ठीक है, तो हमारा क्या मिल गया, हमें आउटपुट एज एक इस तरह का डेटा फ्रेम मिल गया. अब क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग, हम फिर से वही सेम डिक्शनरी को पास कर रहे हैं और इस टाइम हम इंडेक्स को भी स्पेसिफाई कर रहे हैं. तो इस तरह से हमें एक बेटर डेटा फ्रेम मिल जा रहा है जिसमें कस्टम इंडेक्स हमने जो दिया है वो मिल गया हमें. क्लियर हो गया डाउट? हेलो, डाउट क्लियर हो गया विशाल?
क्लियर हो गया।
हाँ, ठीक है. तो कस्टम इंडेक्स दिया. अब हमें अगर लोकेट करना है इंडेक्स को रो वाइज तो दो मेथड्स है हमारे पास. या तो हमने जो कस्टम इंडेक्स दिया है उन लोग को उनके थ्रू लोकेट कर सकते हैं उसको हम. जैसे हमने यहाँ कस्टम इंडेक्स 4 के लिए दिया, जून, रॉबर्ट, लिली, डेविड. तो ऐसे तो और 10-15 हो सकते हैं. 10-15 क्या, 10-15 हज़ार हो सकते हैं डेटा में. डेटा कोई छोटा वैल्यू तो होगा नहीं आपके पास, वो तो बहुत बड़ा वैल्यू होगा. डेटा सेट अगर आप प्रॉपर एक डेटा सेट की बात कर रहे हैं तो कुछ कुछ डेटा सेट 300 GB तक हो जाते हैं. मैंने वर्क किया 30 GB मैक्सिमम, 30 GB के डेटा सेट पर. तो कुछ कुछ 300 GB तक डेटा ही जाते हैं. तो उस केस में वर्क करने के लिए आपको क्या चाहिए, कैसे आप एक पर्टिकुलर रो को खोजोगे. या तो आप उसका इंडेक्स नंबर से खोजोगे तो आप यूज करोगे आई लॉक. तो वो क्या, उसका फुल फॉर्म क्या होता है, इंडेक्स लोकेशन आई लॉक फंक्शन. या तो आप उसको लॉक पैरामीटर से खोजोगे तो उसका होता है सिर्फ लोकेट बाय नेम. तो आप उसका इंडेक्स नेम दोगे तो वो लोकेट करेगा लॉक पैरामीटर, और अगर आप उसका इंडेक्स वैल्यू दोगे तो वो आई लॉक पैरामीटर लोकेट करेगा. दो फंक्शन है, लॉक और आई लॉक. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे फिर से कट गया तो वो चीज दिखाते कैसे काम करता है ये लॉक और आई लॉक. तो लॉक फंक्शन क्या कर रहा है देखिए, एलओसी जून. तो जून के पास एप्पल्स अकाउंट 3 है और ऑरेंजेस 0 है, और नेम उसका जून है, डेटा टाइप int 64 में स्टोर हुआ है वो. तो ये इन्फॉर्मेशन हमें लॉक पैरामीटर देता है. ठीक है, तो हम लोग चेक कर लेते हैं डेटा सेट में जून जो है उसके पास 3 एप्पल्स हैं और 0 ऑरेंजेस हैं. तो डेटा हमारा क्लियर दिया इसने लॉक पैरामीटर के थ्रू. अब अगर लॉक के जगह हम आई लॉक यूज करेंगे तो यहाँ पे जून नहीं देना होगा, सिर्फ 0 दिख लेंगे हम, क्योंकि इंडेक्स पोजीशन 0 पे है जून का वैल्यू. तो 0 देंगे तो भी सेम डेटा मिलेगा हमें. तो ये सब एक्सपेरिमेंट आप लोगों को करना है. ये सारे जो मैं प्रोग्राम्स आपको बता रहा हूँ ये सभी आप लोग करके मुझे सबमिट करना है, तब हम लोग ईडीए करेंगे तब, क्योंकि ये सब बेसिक्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है, और एक चीज, आज का जो प्रोग्राम हो रहा है होगा पांडास का सेशन. अभी तो स्टार्टिंग में हम लोग बस बेसिक जो सैम्पल डेटा पे काम कर रहे हैं. विद इन 5 to 10 मिनट्स हम लोग IMDb का मूवी डेटा सेट पे काम करेंगे. ठीक है, तो उस मूवी डेटा सेट के भी इसमें प्रोग्राम्स लिखे गए हैं, तो वो प्रोग्राम्स भी आपको करना है. मैं मूवीज डेटा सेट आप लोग को भेज दूंगा, ठीक है, ग्रुप में आज शाम तक. ठीक है, तो मूवीज डेटा सेट पे भी आप लोग अपने मन से भी एक्सपेरिमेंट कर सकते हैं, कस्टम कुछ कुछ प्रोग्राम लिख सकते हैं. जैसे इसी का प्रोग्राम का वैल्यूज आप लोग चेंज करके कुछ कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट करके देखेंगे. ठीक है, कि कैसे क्या होता है, क्योंकि बिना आप लोग एक्सपेरिमेंट जब तक नहीं करेंगे तो सीखेंगे कैसे आगे. क्लियर? ठीक है, तो अब देखते हैं रीड CSV फाइल्स। रीड डेटा हम लोग रीड कैसे करेंगे? तो डेटा बहुत तरह के हो सकते हैं। CSV फाइल हो सकती है, एक्सेल फाइल हो सकता है, JSON फाइल हो सकता है, टेक्स्ट फाइल हो सकता है। ठीक है, तो हर एक के लिए पांडास में फंक्शन है। CSV है तो रीड CSV, JSON है तो रीड JSON, एक्सेल है तो रीड XLSX, ठीक है, या फिर टेक्स्ट है तो रीड TXT। ठीक है, हर एक के लिए फंक्शन है। देखिए यहाँ पे तो यहाँ पे दो ही दिया हुआ है, रीड JSON और रीड आपका XLS। लेकिन अगर व्हाट हैपेंस कि अगर हमारे पास कस्टम SQL बेस्ड डेटाबेस हो, तो अगर हमारा डेटा एक SQL डिराइव्ड डेटाबेस से ओरिजिनेटेड हो, तब हम लोग क्या करेंगे? तब हम लोग क्या है, तब उसके लिए पाइथन में हमारा एक लाइब्रेरी इंस्टॉल करना पड़ेगा हमें, एक कस्टम मॉड्यूल रिलेटेड टू डेटाबेस। जैसे अगर हम SQLite 3 यूज करते हैं, SQLite डेटाबेस, तो SQLite 3 के लिए हम लोग पिप इंस्टॉल कर लेंगे और उसके थ्रू हम लोग डेटाबेस से कनेक्ट करेंगे। अगर हमारा मोंगो है तो मोंगो के लिए भी एक लाइब्रेरी है। अगर हमारा कॉकरोच DB है तो कॉकरोच DB के लिए भी लाइब्रेरी है। ठीक है, MySQL है तो MySQL के लिए भी लाइब्रेरी है। तो इस तरह से हर एक तरह के डेटाबेस के लिए कस्टम लाइब्रेरी बिल्ट इन है ऑलरेडी पाइथन में। जो उस पर्टिकुलर टाइप के डेटाबेस से हमें कनेक्ट करने में हेल्प करता है। ठीक है, 1 मिनट दीजिएगा इस तरह से मुझे, 1 मिनट। तो अब आगे बताते हैं। जैसे कि SQL डेटाबेस है, हमें क्या कर रहे हैं? SQLite के बारे में सबने सुना है या नहीं सुना है? SQLite सुना है किसी ने? SQLite के बारे में, SQLite क्या होता है?
मैंने सुना है सर।
हाँ, तो SQLite एक डेटाबेस है। किसी ने कॉकरोच DB के बारे में सुना है? कॉकरोच DB, ओके। इस MongoDB किसी ने? कॉकरोच DB भी एक तरह का डेटाबेस है। MongoDB के बारे में किसी ने सुना या काम किया किसी ने MongoDB पर?
सर जानते हैं MongoDB वही नो एसक्यूएल सर।
हाँ, नो SQL बेस्ड है।
हाँ
MariaDB भी एक है जो भी काफी ट्रेंड पे, MariaDB, उसमें भी आप काम कर सकते हैं। तो मैं बताना चाह रहा हूँ, तो हर एक तरह के डेटाबेस आर्किटेक्चर के लिए हमें पहले डेटाबेस से कनेक्ट करना जरूरी होता है। किसी भी अगर SQL या नो SQL बेस्ड डेटाबेस से हम लोग यूज कर रहे हैं, तो PostgreSQL भी है एक अलग डेटाबेस आर्किटेक्चर, PostgreSQL। तो उसके लिए भी हर एक के लिए लाइब्रेरी है। तो उसको पहले हमें फर्स्ट कनेक्शन बनाना होगा और उसके बाद हम लोग डेटा फ्रेम को कॉल कर सकते हैं सेलेक्ट क्वेरी के थ्रू। ठीक है, जैसे देखिए यहाँ पे एक टिप भी दिया है, इफ यू हैव डेटा इन PostgreSQL, MySQL या कोई भी SQL सर्वर में है, you will need to obtain right Python library, okay? जैसे कि PostgreSQL के लिए यहाँ दिया है PSYCOPG2, वो लाइब्रेरी होती है PostgreSQL से कनेक्शन बनाने के लिए। ठीक है, तो PostgreSQL जब कनेक्शन हमने बना लिया, तो हम लोग कैसे रीड करेंगे डेटा फ्रेम? रीड SQL क्वेरी नाम का फंक्शन आता है जो हम लोग को हेल्प करता है क्वेरी को रीड करने में टेबल से। ठीक है, तो ये रीड SQL क्वेरी क्या करती है? रीड SQL क्वेरी हमारा कनेक्शन जब हमने बना लिया, तो हम इसके अंदर एक कोई भी अगर हम SQL का क्वेरी डालेंगे अगर कोट्स में, और CON क्या है? ये कनेक्शन वेरिएबल है। ठीक है, CON हमारा कनेक्शन वेरिएबल है। तो वो अगर आपको देखना होगा कि कैसे कनेक्शन बनाते हैं। ठीक है, कनेक्शन बनाने के बाद तो कनेक्शन बनाने के बाद CON नाम का एक वेरिएबल को हम लोग को स्टोर करना होगा, कनेक्शन के लिंक को। तो ये CON वही है, कनेक्शन लिंक है। और कनेक्शन लिंक से हम लोग ये क्वेरी पास कर रहे हैं हम लोग वहाँ। कहाँ पास कर रहे हैं? SQL सर्वर में। तो SQL सर्वर में क्वेरी एग्जीक्यूट होता है, जो रिजल्ट आता है वही फिर ये कनेक्शन वेरिएबल क्या करता है? हमारा pandas को भेजता है और pandas उसे डिस्प्ले करता है। तो ये CON क्या है? ये CON को आप बेसिकली बोल सकते हैं ये एक एप्लीकेशन इंटरफेस की की तरह काम कर रहा है। ये आपका क्वेरी जो आप pandas में लिखे है वो ले करके SQL सर्वर में भेज रहा है, और SQL सर्वर से जो हमारा आ रहा है कि जो रिजल्ट एसक्यूएल सर्वर पे जो क्वेरी एग्जीक्यूट होने का जो रिजल्ट जनरेट हो रहा है, ये उस रिजल्ट को फेच भी कर रहा है और वापस pandas के थ्रू डिस्प्ले भी करवा रहा है। तो क्लियर हो गया ये चीज कि रीड एसक्यूएल क्वेरी कैसे काम कर रही है फंक्शन। ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट फंक्शन है, मैं सिर्फ थोड़ा डिटेल में समझा रहा हूँ कि एग्जैक्टली कैसे काम कर रहा है, क्योंकि असली जो डेटा एनालिस्ट की जॉब होती है, जो डेटा एनालिस्ट असली होता है, मींस असली लाइक जो प्रॉपर डेटा एनालिस्ट की हम लोग बात करते हैं, जो एमएनसीज में काम करते हैं बड़े बड़े उन लोगों को डेटा सेट आप लोग को ऐसे नहीं मिल जाता है हाथों हाथ CSV या एक्सेल फाइल में। उन लोगों को हडूप डेटा आर्किटेक्चर पे मिलेगा या बिग डेटा फॉर्मेट में मिलेगा डेटा, ठीक है। तो उसके लिए भी और कॉम्प्लेक्स फंक्शंस होते हैं। तो मैं आपको सिंपली उसी चीज को एज एक स्मॉलर स्केल में बता रहा हूँ आपको एसक्यूएल क्वेरी के मेथड से। उस फॉर्मेट में उन्हें डेटा मिलता है, तो वो भी अगर उन्हें भी एक्सेस करना होता है, क्योंकि वो उस वक्त डेटा वेयर हाउसेस में स्टोर होते, तो उसको एक्सेस करने के लिए भी इसी तरह की क्वेरी लगती है। तो उसी के एग्जाम्पल को मैं आपको बस शॉर्टली बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है। तो ये हमारा आउट हो गया। इसके थ्रू अगर हम ये डेटा फ्रेम बनाए तो ये हमारा इंडेक्स के लिए एक सेपरेट कॉलम बना दिया। आप देख रहे हैं यहाँ पे इंडेक्स के लिए एक सेपरेट कॉलम बन गया एप्पल्स और ऑरेंजेस के अलावा। तो इससे क्या हो रहा है कि हम लोग इंडेक्स को सेट नहीं कर पा रहे, इंडेक्स, ठीक है। तो व्हाट हैप तो यहाँ पे मतलब pandas डेटा फ्रेम, जो हमारा डेटा फ्रेम ये रिजल्ट दिया है, ये जो हमने इंडेक्स सेट किया है, वो pandas डेटा फ्रेम क्या समझा है वो कि इंडेक्स नाम का एक सेपरेट कॉलम है, वो ओरिजिनल इंडेक्स नहीं है। जो रोज का इंडेक्स होता है, जो हमने ऊपर यहाँ पे इंडेक्स देखा था, कहाँ पे देखा था क्या बता रहे, ये जो हमने इंडेक्स यहाँ देखा था डेविड, जून, लिली, रॉबर्ट, ये इंडेक्स नहीं है वो, ये इंडेक्स नाम का एक कॉलम ही है जिसमें ये वैल्यूज हैं। तो अब क्या करना होगा, हमें इस इंडेक्स नाम के कॉलम को हटा के इसे प्रॉपर जो इंडेक्स होता है कॉलम का, मींस जिससे कि हम लोग डेटा को एक्सेस कर सके, वो बनाना होगा। तो इसलिए हम लोग यूज करेंगे सेट इंडेक्स फंक्शन। और क्या हमने पास किया, इंडेक्स नाम के कॉलम को ही पास करके उसे इंडेक्स बना दिया है। तो अब देखिए ये हमारा आउटपुट आ गया, ठीक है। तो ये हमारा प्रॉपर डेटा फ्रेम जैसा हमने पिछले बार बनाया था वैसा फ्रेम आ गया, ठीक है। तो अब देखते हैं कि अगर हमने जब कन्वर्ट हमने सपोज दैट हमारे पास एक डेटा आया CSV फॉर्मेट में, हमने उसमें कुछ काम किया, प्रोसेस किया, प्रेडिक्शन भी बना दिया, हमने उससे प्रेडिक्ट भी कर लिया डेटा, हमने मतलब उससे जो हमने प्रोसेस करके मॉडल में पास करके हमने कुछ इनसाइट्स गेन किए। अब हम चाहते हैं वो इनसाइट्स जो हमने हर एक एंट्री के लिए किया डेटा सेट में, वो एंट्री को हम डेटा उस एक नए CSV फाइल में स्टोर भी कर दें। समझ में आ रहा है। सपोज दैट हमारे पास एक 5-6 कॉलम का एक डेटा फ्रेम है जिसमें करीब 1500 एंट्रीज हैं, ठीक है। हम चाहते हैं कि उस 1500 एंट्रीज को हमने कैटेगराइज किया 10 ग्रुप्स में या 15 ग्रुप्स में हमने कैटेगराइज किया, ठीक है। अब हम क्या चाहते हैं कि वो डेटा जो हमारे पास है, तो हर एक जिस कैटेगरी में हमने जिस टेबल रो एंट्री को बांटा है, जिस भी रो को जो कैटेगरी को वो बिलोंग करता है, सपोज दैट कि रो नंबर 6 कैटेगरी 1 को बिलोंग करता है, तो हम चाहते हैं कि हमारा एक नया डेटा सेट बन जाए, एक CSV फाइल बन जाए ऐसी, जिसमें एक 7वां कॉलम हो अपार्ट फ्रॉम दीज 5 कॉलम्स, जिसमें ये लिखा हो कि ये किस ग्रुप को बिलोंग करता है, ठीक है। तो इसको करने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा, हमें अपेंड करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है। तो हमने अपेंड भी कर दिया। तो इसके बाद क्या हमारा टारगेट आता है अगला, जब हमने अपेंड कर दिया है प्रेडिक्शंस को, तो इसे वापस CSV फाइल में कैसे कन्वर्ट करें या JSON फाइल में कैसे कन्वर्ट करें, उसके वक्त साथ या SQL वापस इसे SQL डेटाबेस में कैसे कन्वर्ट करें, उसके लिए फंक्शंस होते हैं, या फिर वापस XLS फाइल में कैसे कन्वर्ट करें, एक्सेल के फाइल में, तो उस जगह फंक्शंस होते हैं to CSV में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए, to JSON फाइल में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए, to SQL डेटाबेस में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए और 2XLSX एक्सेल फाइल में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए। इस तरह के आते हैं फंक्शंस, पांडास में ऑलरेडी लिखे गए हैं। और हर एक में आपका क्या है, नए CSV फाइल का या फिर नए जो फाइल आप बना रहे हैं उसका नाम, और SQL में एक एक्स्ट्रा नए फाइल का नाम, कॉमा, कनेक्शन वेरिएबल का नाम जरूरी है बस। बाकी में आपको सिर्फ नए वेरिएबल का नाम देना है, नए फाइल का नाम, और SQL वाले केस में आपको नए वेरिएबल का नाम, कॉमा, कनेक्शन वेरिएबल। तो एक क्वेश्चन करें तब तक हम देखते हैं आपने समझा या नहीं। एक क्वेश्चन पूछें, शॉर्ट वाइवा क्वेश्चन।
यस सर।
तो बताइए, एक SQL डेटाबेस से रीड करने के लिए क्या दो इंपॉर्टेंट फाइल्स चाहिए हमें, दो इंपॉर्टेंट पैरामीटर्स क्या क्या हैं? टाइप कीजिए चैट बॉक्स में, मैं 1 मिनट में हाथ धो के आ रहा हूँ। क्वेश्चन था, ओके, कैन यू रिपीट? क्वेश्चन है एक SQL, हाउ टू रीड फाइल्स फ्रॉम एन SQL डेटाबेस इन pandas. What are the two arguments that the read SQL function takes? Read SQL query function takes two arguments. What are those two arguments? Read CSV is used for reading CSV files, not SQL database. I had told you how to read data from an SQL database. There are two parameters there. Vishal, you are partially right using select and from, but there is one more. Field name, table name, no. Select star from table, okay, but one more is still missing. What is that parameter? One more parameter is missing. Vishal and Chandana had said correctly, but they both are missing one parameter. Not where, yeah, con. Connection variable is very important. So this is why I took this short question. Connection variable is really important in order to make connection with a database. Okay. One query, the first parameter is the query, SQL query. It can be of anything using select, where, from select, anything. You have to write a complete SQL query. Okay. And second point, the connection variable. Okay. So let's move ahead now. So now IMDb dataset. Let's begin the IMDb dataset text. Okay. So read CSV is used for read CSV. First, file name that we are reading, and setting the index column as title. Okay. So the title of the movie will be our index. Okay. What is index column used? Another parameter there. And before that we had used set index. Set index is used to set the index, okay, after being imported the data set. Okay, suppose that the data frame is constructed already and the index is not being set. So set index is used in that case to set the data, set the index manually. Okay. But what if we want to set the index while reading itself? We don't want to write another statement. So then you can use index column. What it does, it helps us to automatically tell the pandas data frame that this column which is residing in this data frame is already known as is the index. Okay, so please accept it as the index. So this is why I am telling here with the function index column. Okay. So now viewing the data, how to view the data here? Movies.df head. So head function will give you first 5 rows, okay, and similarly if the head is existing, tail is also existing. Tail will also give you last 5 rows. If you are not passing anything in this brackets, by default it will give you 5 only. If you are passing 10 here, then it will give you 10 rows. If you are passing 2 here, then only 2 rows. If you are passing 1 here, then 1 row. And if you are not passing anything, then 5 rows. Okay, so since we had not passed anything, we have got only 5 rows of the data here. Is it clear till here or any doubts? Hello? Hello? Maximum limit of head function? There is no maximum limit. You can find, you can, if you want, you can print the entire data set as well. Okay, so there is no limit. But I would not recommend to print the entire dataset. But why we are just using head is to get the basic idea of the dataset. Like first 5 rows will tell you what the dataset contains. Okay, what kind of values. Okay, so that is why head is being used here. Wait for it. There will be more functions coming on, so you will get better understanding. Okay. To see last 5 rows, I had already told you tail is used here. Okay. Then info function. What is info function? Info function gives you information about your data. Okay, like here movies.df info. What is the information we are getting? So there are 1000 entries. Okay, starting from Guardians from Galaxy to 9 lives, 11 data columns. Okay, all of these data columns are being written here, index being the first data column, rank, genre, description, director, actors and year. Okay, these are 11 data columns here. 1000 values in each of the data column except revenue and Metascore. These contains 872 values and 936 values. So all of these data values are not null values. Okay, they are not supposed to contain any null objects. Okay, but revenue millions has 872 entries, means it is being missing. 128 entries are missing here and 64 entries are missing in Metascore. Now rank is belonging to int64 data, genre is belong to object data type, float64 is rating is belonging to float data type. Then data types. So what are the data types that are being used? There are 3 columns which are using float data type, 4 columns which are using int data type, and 4 columns which are using object data type. Memory is being used 93.8 KB. Understood? What kind of information are we getting from a data set? Hello, did you please unmute and answer, because I'm not able to hear this. Did everyone understood what kind of information are we getting from the data set?
Yes. So can you zoom in?
Sure. Is it okay? Or do you want some more zoom?
Fine.
Okay. So next thing, shape. Shape function will give you the number of rows to number of columns. Okay. So 1000 is the number of rows and 11 columns. This will give you the shape. Okay. Remember, shape belongs to numpy function. Okay. Handling duplicates. Okay. So this I will explain with this PDF because it will be much better, because there is some data that has been cut here. Okay. Wait. So handling duplicates. Let's see how to handle the duplicate rows. Two methods are there. Remember. So first let's create a new data frame. Okay, tempdf. What tempdf should contain? It contains movie df. Okay, first it should contain movie df, but there is append function as well, and we are appending another movie df function at the end as well, another copy of the movie df function at the end of this tempdf. So let's see the shape of the tempdf. What will be the shape of tempdf? Please tell me. What will be the shape of tempdf after being used here, this function? I have explained this. What should be the shape of temp df here? Answer me. Vishal will answer it. What will be the shape of temp df? Let me explain you again what I am doing. Temp df contains movie df first. Then comes append function. What append function means? Add at the end. Okay? Add at the end of movie df another movie df. Okay? So what our movie df should contain now? Initially the movie df had 1000 rows with 11 columns. So what our movie df should be? So what will be the size of our temp df now? Can anyone tell me? No one is answering. 2000.11. Yeah, very good. Okay, so it becomes 2000.11. Why? Because we are adding another copy of 1000 rows here now. Okay, so then to handle the duplicates, what we will do, what is the function that we use? We use drop duplicate. So what it does, it first goes through all the data set, checks whether it contains any duplicate values or not, and if it contains the duplicate values, it automatically deletes them. Okay, then in place equal to true. Okay, another parameter. What is in place equal to 2? Here what we did was we first stored this. Okay, when we call drop duplicates, we stored in the same variable as temp df, so it got modified. But if we call temp df directly, it will need a variable that to store the new dataset into. Okay, so temp df will not modify the existing dataset unless and until we pass an attribute known as in place equal to true. So what in place equal to true will do? It will modify the existing data set itself, dropping all the duplicate values. Otherwise, it will give us a new data frame. Always, if we don't write this in place equal to true, it will always give us a new data frame. Okay. Then another argument is keep. Okay. So keep has essentially 3 values: first, last, and drop, and false. Okay, so first, last, and false. Okay, let's see the 3 arguments in detail. So if we pass keep equal to first, what it will do, it will drop all the duplicates except the first value. If we pass last in keep, it will drop all the duplicates except the last values. And if keep has the value false, then it will drop all the duplicates. It will not store even the first or the last value. Okay, so let's see if we pass this on to drop duplicates. Let's see what happens. Okay, so if we pass in place equal to true and keep equal to false, the shape becomes 0, means it deleted the entire data set itself. Why? Because our data set was simply a copy of movies df twice, means each entry that was placed in the movies df dataset, it was placed exactly 2 times in data frame temp in the temporary data frame. Okay, temp underscore df. And what keep equal to first has told us that it will drop all the duplicate values, no matter it is coming first or last. That means suppose that if your entry contains 135 and 135, it will delete both 135s. It will not store even a single value if we pass keep equal to false. So that is why it deleted both the occurrences of the duplicate entry. It did not store even a single occurrence. Is it clear now? So next comes column cleanup. Okay, let's explain with this one. Okay, so what is column cleanup? Essentially nothing except just renaming the columns. Okay, so how to access the column names? First, just passing the data frame name dot columns. It will give us a list of columns itself. Okay, and using the rename function, we can just rename the columns as whatever we want them to be. But there is one trick here. How? We will need to call the rename function and pass the dictionary of column names. Okay, we will need to pass the dictionary of column names, not directly. Okay, through a dictionary format, like here, movies.rename in brackets column is equal to a dictionary where runtime minutes was the key, which was replaced by runtime. Runtime minutes was replaced by simply runtime. It will look for the key named runtime minutes and it will replace it with runtime. It will look for the key revenue millions and it will replace it with revenue underscore millions. And in place equal to true means it will modify the existing data frame itself. It will not return you a new data frame. Okay, so if we see the movies.columns, then all our data frames will be renamed. Okay, but instead of using rename function, we could just directly pass a list of modified columns using df.columns, movies underscore df.columns, and if we pass a list of columns, it will automatically be updated there itself. Okay, but still that is a bit too much work. So what we can do, we can use a list comprehension method as well. List comprehension I not told you about, but list comprehension is just nothing, just what is it called? A for loop. List comprehension is just a method of creating a new list using a for loop method. Okay, this is the expression of which is executed just after the for loop, and that will create a new list. Okay, so just it is being said, for every column for col belonging to movie.data frame, for every column belonging to movies.data frame, perform column.lower and then put it in this list. Okay, it is just saying that. List comprehension is just simple, nothing special as that, just one expression and then the for loop for that expression. Okay, for loop which is governing that expression. So that is just a easier method of initializing a new list. Okay, so now column cleanups is done. Next, let's move ahead. How to work with missing values. Okay, so first two options are there. Removing of rows or columns that contain the missing values, or second method is replacing the missing values with a technique known as imputation. There can be imputation with many ways, using mode, using mean, using median values. Okay, three methods of using imputation: mode, mean and median. Okay, so let's discuss the scope of these two values. Okay, so what about if I ask you to, what is the use of in place? Okay, in place is nothing. If you pass in place equal to true, means by default all the functions in pandas, they are designed to return a new data frame if you are modifying it within any case. Like columns also, like anything, they are designed to return you a new data frame itself. Every function almost in pandas are like that. But what in place does is, if you pass in place equal to true, it will just modify the existing data frame itself. It will not return a new data frame. Okay, is it clear, Vishal? Hello, is it clear, Vishal? Got it. Okay, so now two questions, and I expect everyone to unmute and answer it. Just, it's not a question about uh, coding, just discussing about scope, like what you will do. General query, we had discussed two ways to deal with missing values. Okay, two ways. So let's discuss the scope of these two ways, like which case you will use what. So now suppose our data frame contains some 500 entries, and this 500 entries have 100 missing, 100 rows have of these 500 rows, 100 rows have some missing values. So would you delete the 100 rows, or would you replace the missing values in the 100 rows? Tell me what you will do. Yeah, replace them. Okay, next question. You have 15,000 rows this time. Would you delete rows, or would you just replace rows?
Sir, can you repeat again? 15,000 rows.
15,000 rows this time. Would you delete? And of these 15,000 rows, 1,000 rows do not have. Of this 1,000 rows have missing values. Would you delete them, or would you replace them here? Yeah, Vishal, delete them. Okay. So you have to choose what kind of operation here. So this was my motive to explain you what you have to perform. Okay. Like suppose if the data frame is very big, then delete is the option. Okay. Not due to storage, but just to handle, because why you need to handle 100 rows, or suppose that if the 15,000 rows is there, deleting 1,000 rows won't matter you much as compared to deleting 100 rows in a 500 rows data frame. Not due to storage, but due to just because you need enough data to train as well, to get insights from the data as well, because EDA is nothing. You are also getting an insights from the data using EDA. Means data is more. Yes, the more the data is, that will be your choice depending upon the size of the data. Whatever, if the data is more, then the better option will be to delete them rather than to handle them separately. If the data is less, then you should handle them, go for handling them. Okay, so let's see what should we do. So first let's see how to know which data, which columns has contained the null values. Okay, or which row particularly has the null values. So isNull is the function that is used. Okay, so what isNull does, it just creates a copy of the data frame and fills them with boolean values depending whether they contain null values or not. So if they contain null values, true will be placed in that row and columns cell, the particular row and row comma column cell. Otherwise it will be replaced with a false. So here false, 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 it is being given. This means that these rows do not contain any null values, or these cells of these particular rows do not contain null values. Okay, so but here we have to manually check them for all the rows, which will be another tough task. So what to do, we use sum function as again, is null dot sum. So what it will do, it will give you exactly whichever the sum of all the rows, okay, sum of all the columns for every row, all the columns, that sum of all the columns of missing values. Means like here all the columns where there were no columns of missing values, so it will give you 0. But here 128 rows had missing values, so it returned 128 here. Here 64 rows had missing values, so it returned 64 here. Okay, means sum is used as an aggregation function. It aggregates the number of rows having missing values. It summed them up simply. Okay, so let's see how to remove null values. To remove null values, you have to simply do drop NA. Okay, drop NA. If you pass in place equal to true there, then the original data frame will be modified and will be removed from this rows. Okay, all those rows having missing values will be deleted. Okay, but what if we want to delete the columns having missing values? We will pass access equal to 1 here, and then all the columns that were having the missing values will be deleted using drop NA. Again, now imputation. So let's see how to perform imputation. So first what we will do, we will just create a copy, means a series of the data frame using a single value. See, we are creating a series here. From revenue.millions, we are creating a series named revenue, which contains all the columns, all the entries in the particular column revenue underscore millions. So what will be the shape of this series? A revenue underscore millions had some 900 something entries, I guess. Okay, so let's see the head of this entry. Then what to do? To impute the, what do we mean by impute? To replace means to impute something. Okay, so to replace the null values, we first need to, there are three techniques I told you: using the mean value, using the median value, or using the mode of the data set. So let's here replace by mean. So how to get the mean? Using the mean function. So let's store the mean value in this. Let's find the mean and store them in revenue underscore mean variable. So this was the mean here. So let's replace all the missing values with the mean now using fill NA. Okay, so now revenue dot fill NA, out of which variable will be fill the which, and then
Sir,
yeah.
sir, I have a question.
Yeah,
Sir, we are using to replace the value mean median mode, which give the efficiency of the data. Mean or median or mode.
I could not understand your question.
That means as you said that we all are replacing the null value by using the method imputation, mean median mode.
Yeah, but mean median mode, there are three techniques I'm telling you about.
Then,
There are
sir,
three
I
methods
want
to replace the data: using mean, or using mode, or using median. So I'm using just mean here.
sir, my question is that which technique give more efficiency? Like
It
in
depends.
option
It
mean.
depends on your choice. There are, all of them have same efficiency. It depends on your choice what kind of technique that you are using. Generally, we prefer mean. All the data science scientists prefer mean generally. But it depends on the data type as well. What kind of data you are dealing with. Okay. So there cannot be said like which is more efficient. All of them are equally efficient, and depends entirely upon the data set itself what kind of operation it should be performed. So that is why we need to first perform the EDA on the data before doing any kind of machine learning to it, to get an overview of the data set. That is why I'm teaching you this bootcamp, to get you, so that before you go on pursuing a career in, or learning and or developing in data science or in machine learning, you should get an overview of the data set. So that is why our target was to give you how to generate the overview. We are doing EDA on it. That is why I'm telling you this. Okay, so revenue.fill NA will replace all the missing values. So what it will take? A variable, and this variable should contain the value which is to be replaced in all the null value with all the null values, and in place equal to true. Again, it will modify the existing data frame itself and not the, it will not return a new data frame. Okay, So here all the null values were removed from the data set. Okay. Now movies.df describe function. Describe function gives you a summary of the dataset, means mean, count, minimum value, maximum value, 25 percentile, 50 percentile of the data, 75th percentile. Remember percentile, not percentage. Percentile I'm telling you about. Okay, count on the data. There is some things that have been cut from it, so let's see more of it. Them here. Don't worry. So see here, what it all give you: standard deviation, mean, count. Okay, count means number of true values, not the missing values. Number of values which were not having any nulls in there. So this 936 here. So this is giving you an insight on the data frame, a summary of the distribution of continuous variables. Okay. So now movies. If you want to get description about only a single column, you can do like that. It will give you count, unique values, top, then frequency as well. Then value underscore counts tell you about the frequency of all the columns in all the values in a particular column. Okay, and again using head function I will get the first 10 rows here. Then next, relationship count between continuous variables. Okay, how do you identify the relationship between particular variables? What do? You generate the correlation matrix. Okay, so first, how to generate the correlation matrix? So first you will need to find the correlation between all the columns of the data frame. Okay, so to do that you have a function called CORR, called COR. Okay, so COR will give you the correlation between continuous variables. Okay, and then there is a function is also there to generate the correlation matrix directly. So that function I will teach you tomorrow while in the practical session as well. Tomorrow will be our last session and that will be our practical session. Okay, so now data frame slicing, selecting and extracting. How to slice the data frame? By column. Simply how? Just pass the column name and through a variable in how? Simply assignment a variable, and how? Passing a column name of the particular data frame by column I am assigning. How to generate the through a let's begin again. How to slice a data frame through a column? What I did, I had passed the column name in the index value of the data frame and assigned it to a new variable. So it gave me a column. But this was a series data frame. Remember, it's a series here. It is not a data frame anymore because it contains only a single row, single column. So to make it a data frame, what you have to do? You have to put it in 2 square brackets. Okay. So now that will make it a data frame. So see, now it's a data frame here. Okay. So now, if you want, you can have more than one column here. Like here, 2 columns data frame here is there. See, I had told you for lock and iLock. For rows, slicing and splitting through rows, you have 2 columns here, lock and iLock. And what they do? Tell me about lock and iLock. What do? They locate the particular row by their name or by their index name or by their index number. Lock locates through index name, iLock locates through index number. Okay, and since they are locating through index name, remember we had used strings as well. We have studied strings, we have studied list as well. All the slicing operator through colons, they are also possible here as well. So with that method you have to do the slicing here, like passing an index or a range of index values or a range of index names will do the slicing through the rows. Okay, so now let's see the slicing using conditions. So what is the condition here? See, I have stored them in a variable and again passed a tuple where I had written a condition inside the tuple. So what I have done, I have called movies DF data frame, and I have selected the director column in it, and I have checked for every director column whether it is equal to Ridley Scott or not. So if the name of the director in this data frame is equal to Ridley Scott, then I am storing them in condition. Otherwise I am not. Otherwise I am discarding them. Okay. So now if we want, so since here we are storing them in new variable, if we want, we can perform this kind of operation in the existing variable as well. How? Like here, movies DF, I have placed a index value. What index I needed? I did not needed all the index values from the director itself, only of those which were directed by Ridley Scott. So I have placed the condition here directly in the index position as well. Index position only. Okay. Then again, rating as well, again the same thing for rating this time. Here, two conditions here. Movie director was Christopher Nolan or director was Ridley Scott. Okay. So another method. So another method to make it look more concise was is in. Remember, is in is a membership operator in. So but in is not for in is a membership operator only for sequence data types, but is in a membership operator for data frame data types. Okay. So what I have did, I had called movies DF data frame. In index position I had passed, what did I have passed in index position? Movies DF dot director. Okay, I had called the director column of movies DF, and I have checked whether they belong to this tuple or not. If they belong to this tuple of data tuple, what does this tuple contains? Christopher Nolan or Ridley Scott. If they belong to this tuple, then only store them, otherwise discard them. So these are just basically we are performing SQL operations here in the data frame itself. Okay, so this was simple SQL queries, but let's see perform a complex queries. Let's say we want movies that were released between 2005 to 10, which had a rating above 8.0, but they made below the 25th percentile in revenue. So how we did? We passed the movies DF data frame, we called them, and in index position we passed the condition as a tuple, combined tuple. What? The year was greater than equal to 2005 and year was less than equal to 2010, the first condition, and the rating was greater than 8.0 and the revenue millions was less than revenue millions percentile is used to. I had calculated the percentile. How I have calculated the percentile? Using quantile function. It will give me the percentile of any data. Okay. So I had calculated the percentile and multiply and 0.25. I have passed them in. I have passed 0.25 here. So what it gave me? The 25th 25 percentile of it. 25 percentile. Okay. But if I did not pass anything here, it will give me the 100th percentile. But here passing 0.25 gave me 25th percentile here. So I had compared them with 25th percentile and I have stored them in the movies DF data frame itself. Okay. Is it clear now? Till here, is it clear? Hello, is it clear till here?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So let's move ahead now. Similarly, like here, We can apply custom functions as well to this data frame. Let's see how, because here it was cut due to some printing glitch. When I tried to print the PDF, there was some glitch there and it cut many of the programs. So let's see here. So I will be sending both of these depending upon your choice, whichever you prefer. You can read them easily. Like here, see, I had created a function rating function dot x, okay, and if x was greater than 0, it returned good, otherwise returned bad. Okay, so using apply function of the pandas, I had applied a rating function to the rating. Okay, what I did, I had created a new column rating category, and this rating category uses ratings column, and this the value of the rating column goes through rating function, which through apply function here it sends the ratings to this rating function. This apply function here, it calls the rating for each row and it sends them to the rating function, and whether good or bad is being returned, it is being stored in the rating category here. So if we see the head, rating category good, because it has a rating here. What was the rating here? 8.1, so it was a good movie. It had rating 7.0, so it became a bad movie, Prometheus. Okay, so here we had to call a function manually, but this apply function also helps us to use the lambda function directly. Like here, lambda function we had called the same function for the same function above, good or bad, we had called a lambda function here. Okay, so now this was all about the pandas. Next there are plotting stuff. So this plotting stuff we will be going to discuss after in the ADA session as well. How to do the plotting stuff as well only. Okay, this will be going to do in the ADA session only, that is going to be tomorrow, the practical ADA session. Okay, any doubts here till now?